I'm not a concept, Joel. I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind. I'm not perfect.
I can't see anything that I don't like about you.
But you
right
will.
Now, I can't.
But you will. You know, you will think of things. And I'll get bored with you and feel trapped because that's what happens with me.
Okay.
All right, welcome to episode 3 of The Vault. As promised, we made popcorn. I said we're going to make popcorn after last week's episode because Jake, I'm going to eventually, pretty soon here, give the floor to Jake to talk about this movie. We're talking about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It came out in 2004.
Yeah, so we made popcorn because...
we just watched this film, so it's kind of fresh in my mind.
Yeah, for the second time.
Yep. And
I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
I'm going to just
Good for you.
hand it off to Jake. Jake, I want to start by talking about this movie. Before we dive into kind of what happens in the film, why is this one of your favorite films of all time? I'm just going to get the heavy
I'm
hitter
going to get this out of the way and say that it's not one of my favorite movies of all time, but if I had to pick a favorite movie of all time, I would probably choose this one.
Whoa!
I don't know what that statement means.
Controversial.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, if a Gollum was playing to his head, like, what's your favorite movie? He'd be like, it's Eternal Sunshine. Correct?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I love acting, and acting doesn't decide a favorite movie for me, but whenever actors or actresses go against their grain of normal movies, I really, really appreciate them more, and then I appreciate the movie a lot more.
When you first watched this movie, after the movie was over, did you just sit there for like 5-10 minutes? You just sit in awe?
Definitely.
Was the first time you watched it, was it me and you, or did you watch
I
it
did it
before
by
that?
myself.
Okay.
On my computer. But yeah, I didn't really know what to make of the movie at first, but I'm kind of an emotional person. People close to me know that.
What?
Not emotional, like I
No way.
cry during movies, but like I'm not a Nicholas Sparks love story. That type of stuff is gross, but I love this movie because you don't just watch a love story. You know, you watch and you fall in love with what love really is.
Yeah, I
In
think
this movie.
this movie hits like all the emotions.
It's a very
Definitely.
sentimental film. That's what I get from it. It's very sentimental.
Honestly, it's probably ended up in my top 5 too, but I think it hits a lot of emotions.
It
And a lot
definitely
of
does.
people can relate to what happens in the movie. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but a lot of people can relate to this movie, I think, and that's why it's such a favorite.
Yeah, you laugh, you cry, you gasp.
Mm-hmm. So this is it's a Jim Carrey film. So Jake, it's obviously probably your favorite Jim Carrey film. Casey, is it
Yep,
your favorite Jim
easily.
Carrey film?
Probably.
Okay.
Because normally when you think of Jim Carrey, you think Dumb and Dumber, and then anything else like that is Jim Carrey.
Was it Evan Almighty?
He was
Or
Bruce Almighty.
Okay, I can never get
And
those
he's
two straight.
he's in Ace Ventura, and he's Liar Liar, and he's
Yeah, he's just a goofball nerd. But in this one, he also plays kind of a nerd, but like an emotional nerd who has feelings and love.
what I get
And-
from this is that like his mannerisms. I think this shows that his mannerisms work better than just in comedies
Easily, yeah.
because you still get that Jim Carrey feel.
Oh,
throughout
yeah.
throughout the entire
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
I had to kind of go through his IMDb and look at where this ranks in like not in his best films, but where it is just in his career. This is a later Jim Carrey film.
Oh, yeah.
This is after
Truman
Ace
Show?
Ventura. This is after Dumb and Dumber. This is after Liar Liar. This is after all those films. So I don't know. It's a weird spot. To me, this is him saying, I want to do a serious film and I want to... Is this after Truman Show? Or is this before Truman Show?
I don't know.
Because I would not be surprised if this came like right before, or this Eternal Sunshine came out right after Truman Show.
Yeah.
Because that Truman Show almost feels like a transition movie. for
Yeah,
him.
probably.
This isn't my favorite Jim Carrey film, I don't think. I really like Truman Show. And I actually really like Cable Guy, too. Have you seen Cable Guy?
I haven't seen either.
I haven't either. If you were going to say Dumb and Dumber, I was about to get really upset.
Cable Guy's a 180 from this. If you think Dumb and Dumber's dumb, Cable Guy's
That's Brad's.
dumber.
Didn't
Oh
Brad
my
say
gosh.
that?
Dumb and Dumber is too dumb for me that it's just not funny. I sit
so
through that
funny.
movie with a straight face, just in anger of just.
We'll
Man,
sit down
I
and watch
can't.
Cable Guy sometime. Cable Guy's really,
gosh.
really, really.
Maybe I'll be
funny.
on the vault sometime.
Oh,
Maybe I'll bring him Dumb and
I
Dumber.
think I'm sick for that episode.
Oh well, we haven't said
we'll get
this.
Andy. We'll get Andy in for Dumb and Dumber. He would think that movie's funny.
And Brad. We could get Brad in here too.
So that's like Brad's favorite
my-
movie.
This movie also stars Kate Winslet, who I recognize her from Titanic.
Really?
Yep.
Have you seen Titanic?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious.
She's also in Revolutionary Road.
Okay, I
You
have
saw
not seen that.
Yep,
That's a good movie.
that is.
That reminds me of Marriage Story. I think I said that earlier, but
You did.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yep, Mary Jane from Spider-Man.
Yep.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yep. Who is the Hulk? That's
Yeah.
Not in this movie. He isn't.
he is in this movie. He's the Hulk in this movie. And then Elijah Wood, who
Is Patrick.
He's Frodo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Who's
I
the
recognize
Who's the
as Frodo.
doctor?
I don't have him. That's the one guy I didn't write down.
I had. What is it?
I've recognized him from a couple.
Dr.
things.
Howard. But it is. I'll check in here.
I'm trying to think of some.
He was
movies.
good though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else he's been in. I know I've seen him in a lot of films.
Yep.
It's directed by Michael Gondry, who, along with this movie, also has done The Science of Sleep, Be Kind Rewind, and Mood Indigo. So nothing I'd really ever heard of. I'd never heard of this director. I saw that he did a lot of music videos before this.
It's Tom Wilkinson, by the way, who plays the doctor.
Okay.
What else is he in?
John Adams, The Kennedys, Prime Suspect. Let's see.
It's a pretty good cast of actors and actresses,
Definitely.
especially for a movie that, and we're gonna kind of dive into this. It feels very low budget.
Oh yeah.
Especially the opening scene, I think sets the tone. It's very. I told Casey at one point, I feel like I could shoot this with my phone,
Easily.
with my cell phone. It feels like it was recorded with a handheld camera, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I
No.
think I could be saying that, and a lot of people could think that that's a negative. It's not a negative. I think it works
Fits
pretty
perfect
well.
for this movie.
It's a relatively like insignificant storyline. It's not like it's a universal broad world problem in this film. It's character conflict, and so I think that kind of style fits well with it.
Right.
Do you want to, Jake? I'm going to let you do the storyline. Do you want to do it though in like the order of not how it's shown in the movie, but how it actually happens? Because that's what
That's what you're confused on.
So last episode I said I really needed answers going into this.
Okay.
We just watched it, and I think I have more of them, but I would like to hear from you, just not how we see it, but how it develops within the film.
Okay. So, first off, what you all need to know is that there's this company that erases memories of people who want someone erased where something negative might have happened. Or even throughout the movie, there's a dead dog that a grandma wants to lose her memory of, named Buster, because if someone dies you can't handle the grief, then why not get your memory erased? So the chronological order would be, so they meet on the beach for the first time,
Okay.
which happens at the end of the movie, actually.
So that's okay. So
When she's looking for the liquor in the cabinet,
okay,
that's when they meet for the very first time.
okay, I see.
And you know how she's saying, "What if you stayed this time?"
Mm-hmm.
He ran away
So
in
do we-
real life.
Do we ever find out whose house that is?
No, it doesn't matter. That's insignificant.
Okay.
But he runs away in real life and meets up with her the next day in the library, which is shown right before that memory.
Okay.
And she's remember when she said, "Oh, I'm surprised that you're showing your face in front of me again.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you would have thought that I'm like some weirdo or something."
Mm-hmm.
But then it's pretty much in order of all of his memories backwards.
I was gonna say it's
so
almost
the first memory that clears in his head is like the last breakup, like their breakup.
okay.
And then it goes backwards from there, which is why he's having regrets doing it, because he's seeing all of these happy memories towards the end of his memory being wiped.
Mm-hmm.
So the storyline is these two have a nice like 2-year relationship where it starts off really good, but then like many long relationships starts to crumble towards the end, and they break up, and it was bad enough that Kate Winslet wants to get her memory wiped of him first. And she does, and they meet up later in the bookstore, and Jim Carrey goes up to her and says, I want to talk about it. And she says, do I know who you are? And that was like really hard for him because he thought that she was just being a jerk. But then he finds out later that she might wiped her memory of him, and he gets angry and does the same exact thing. And the whole movie is pretty much Jim Carrey getting his mind wiped by Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst.
And Elijah Wood. Sorry.
And Elijah Wood.
Yeah.
He's a different story. But so yeah, that's the whole storyline. We see first the bad memories of those two getting wiped, and then all of a sudden the good memories start coming up, and Jim Carrey unconsciously tries to make it stop by taking her dream person with him into other memories that aren't with her. Mm-hmm. So like the scene where they're in the sink or he's hiding under the table, mm-hmm. those aren't real memories of her. He brought her with because he fell off the map. He brought her off the map so that they couldn't find him.
Okay.
But they ended up finding him.
All right.
And they wiped everything.
Okay. And then the subplot, it involves the doctor, and it involves Patrick and Mary, and is the last one named Stan?
Yep.
Okay, do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, sure. So Mary is the receptionist from this company who is, that we know, is dating Stan. Mm-hmm. And they jump around and drink together while they're wiping Jim Carrey's memory. But we find out soon that she's had this crush on the doctor for a long time. And she goes in for the kiss and kisses him. And the doctor's wife drives by and tells Mary that she can have him and that she already did. Yep. So we find out that Mary actually got her mind wiped of the doctor whom they had an affair before, and she agreed to this procedure. So she gets angry at the company, quits, and releases all of the files and cassette tapes of everybody who's gone through the procedure. Yep. And releases them to everybody. So that's that subplot. And the other one with Patrick was he was using Jim Carrey's memories as like help for him to go after Clementine, mm-hmm. or Kate Winslet. So he gave her like a necklace that Jim Carrey had given her, and she obviously didn't remember it, but it had like a place in her heart. And he was using lines that Jim Carrey was saying. And yeah, that was that subplot, but she liked him but knew that there was something more deep with Jim Carrey.
I wanted to talk about this just for a quick second. I think the soundtrack is unbelievable. I think it's one of the best soundtracks to a film I've seen in quite a while.
Yep.
I don't know what's that song that they play when
Everybody's Gotta Learn Sometime by Beck. That's one of my favorite songs.
I like that scene, and we're going to talk about that when the favorite scenes come up. I think just the way that they put the music and then layer the music in throughout this entire film is pretty amazing. And like there's one, I didn't put this underneath my facts sheet, but when I was reading about this film, right when they're on the train, originally the music was supposed to play during the pauses.
Yep.
But they eventually changed it. And when you watch the movie, and next time you watch it, you'll notice this. When they talk, the music plays, and then when they don't talk, the music stops. So the soundtrack, I think, plays a pretty pivotal and pretty amazing part in this film, and I think that's one of the reasons I really connected with this film.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. This film got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
4 out of 4 on Ebert.
Which kind of actually surprises me a little bit, because one of the critiques I do have of this film was I wish it would have been a little more structured. I think it's a little too
loose,
chaotic, and all over the place. And I think this movie, and maybe this is just how my brain works, I did not understand this movie very much at all the first time I watched this film. Mm. In fact, I had Casey was walking me through it quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because it's been a while since I've seen it too, and right at the beginning, I mean, it's like flipped, like kind of like Jake or you guys have been talking about. So at first I was kind of confused too because I didn't know I kind of forgot that's how it started off or whatever. But then as soon as he got rolling with like erasing his memories, I kind of remembered how it worked chronologically and yeah, I mean we've both seen before, but yeah, when you need, I mean I kind of understood it a little bit more. I mean Jake's our expert here, but
was this movie like really popular when it came out?
I'm not entirely sure. You said it was
like
what,
no.
2004? 2004.
Yep.
I would have been way too young. I'm not really sure.
Because I feel like just from a filmmaker's standpoint, this is an incredible achievement. I read none of this was done CGI.
Oh, yeah.
That's incredible because there are moments when they're erasing the memory, you see people disappear. I pointed out to Jake, you see like labels in bookshelves disappear and stuff like that. And it's an incredible achievement just from a filmmaking standpoint.
Yeah.
So just quick, in the box office it made $72.3 million and its budget was $20 million.
That's not bad.
No. That's
Because,
actually really
yeah, in a 2004 especially too, that's really good.
good.
I'm gonna look up.
It's weird to me that Jim Carrey chose to do such a low budget film, especially after the kind of the track record that he had.
Mm-hmm.
When did The Grinch come out? That's got to be around this time, right?
I'm just looking up movies and
I'll look up The Grinch.
So Incredibles came out, $1 Million Baby, Shrek 2, Passion, Troy, Harry Potter 3, Aviator, Kill Bill Volume 2, Shaun of the Dead, Series of Unfortunate Events, Saw 3, Spider-Man 2, The Notebook, Collateral,
This movie was not up for
Day After Tomorrow,
Best
The Terminal. A lot of great movies. Mean Girls came out, Hellboy, Butterfly Effect, Man on Fire, The Village, iRobot, National Treasure. There's so many other great movies. Anchorman came out.
In 2004.
Yeah.
The Grinch was 2000, by the way.
Okay. So
So, I mean, if it didn't do good in like the box office, I can understand why. There's tons of great movies that came out. Like, what did the...
A major dark horse movie, for sure.
I'm just looking up acting in a leading role. Let's see who was up for that. Let's see if he was even up for it. Yeah, so this movie didn't really get much recognition at all. And it does surprise me a little bit because I think just for a filmmaking achievement, and also there's some really popular actors going on. This is probably prime Elijah Wood. This is about when The Lord of the Rings came out.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo, this is a little before he becomes super popular. He does Hulk probably starting around the early 2010s, so this is a little before then.
You know what I feel? I feel that 10 years later, after the movie was released, would be nominated for an Oscar during that year. I just feel like since it was released in a year, like Casey said, where a lot of movies were getting released, that it didn't get as much recognition right away that these other movies got.
I just looked at The Notebook and it made like 130 million compared to
70.
Yeah, 70.
Well, and I think we're in the post, and this is going to be a really weird few years for movies. We're in the post Marvel Cinematic Universe era. So now, like, to me, I want to say that this movie kind of fits in with 2019 because it's an original screenplay, and
I think if it would have came out around now, I probably would have done pretty well.
Yeah.
Whereas in that 5-year time period where Infinity War and Endgame and all those ones are coming out, I wonder how it would have done. What else do you want to talk about this movie for Jake?
I like the theme pretty much overall. First, I want to read a quote, my favorite quote from the movie, which is at the very end after they both hear each other's cassette tapes of why they hate each other and why they want to break up and erase each other's memory of each other. But Joel comes outside and tells Clementine to wait because they're pretty much just going to say goodbye and forget about it. But she just says that she's this messed up girl with a lot of problems, and he says, I can't see anything I don't like about you. And she says, but you will. You will think of things, and I'll get bored with you and feel trapped because that's what happens with me. And then, okay, is what Joel says. And I think that is the most powerful quote of the movie.
Exactly.
Because that's him saying that he's saying the theme of the movie. It's not all like a bed of roses.
Right.
Long distance relationships aren't easy. It's all about learning from one another and accepting the flaws and challenging each other to be better. Like, it's not going to be perfect.
What I took away from it is that they knew things weren't going to work out, but they cherished Jim Carrey when he was going through that process. He cherished the memories so much that they were willing to give a shot anyway, just to have those memories with them. They didn't care that it was going to end ugly or how it was going to end or whatever.
Right.
All they wanted was the memories. And I think that was my favorite part of the movie, was just realizing that that's all they wanted. And
the movie's about suffering and troubles, and it's about how suffering is necessary in order to feel pure joy. You need that's very well said.
This movie's sweet. If anything, it's like a sweet movie.
Yeah,
well,
it's some people.
Sweet.
I read a lot of things saying, asking, is this movie is it heartwarming or is it heartbreaking?
It's both.
Because
it's heartwarming
at the end,
a really weird way.
on the beach when that song is playing, they keep repeating over and over, and that's like saying it's going to be a pretty shitty relationship, but you can either take it that way and be like, well, dang, they're together, but it's not good, and they just keep going over and over again, or you can take it the other way and say they realize that it's not going to be easy, that there's going to be problems, but they're choosing each other out of love.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about earlier. It was a lot of people can relate to this movie, because there's definitely been times, and I think all of our lives, where we've wanted to forget something, forget someone, something like that, but we don't really realize how that event shaped us as a person, or how we hold on to those memories and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that, that some memories are worse or better than others or whatever, but just to have those memories and to shape you as a person, you don't want to forget them. So
it'll hit you emotionally one way or another.
Oh yeah, I was hit hard because, with Jim Carrey, the reason that he changed his mind halfway through the procedure and wanted to keep some memories was it was because when you want to lose your memories of a failed relationship, that means that you have to lose pleasurable moments in order to get rid of the pain.
Yeah,
so he decided that he wanted to keep some of the pain, obviously, because he had these good memories. You can't get rid of one or the other.
Yeah, the first two memories that he erased was of them fighting, basically, and then the one of the ones when he realized that he didn't want to lose it anymore was when they were both under the covers, she was talking about some memory that she had as a child, and he's at that moment he was saying, he's no, let me keep this one, let me hold on to this one. It's just,
and when they were on the ice, laying down on the ice, and he was I'm so happy right now, he could die right now,
because he's exactly where he wanted to be.
Yep.
In every part of his life, and it's just so that part. I mean, it's both bitter. It's bitter and sweet, I guess. I don't know. That's just how this whole movie is for me, I think.
You feel both. Yeah, you feel both emotions. You feel all of your emotions.
I mess with bowl cut Jim Carrey too.
Yeah,
I just want to point that out. I mess with bowl cut Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it's definitely just to show how he was kind of closed off, and
that's why I was wondering where this was in his in the timeline, because he looks younger in this film than he does in a lot.
He does.
The haircut makes him look like he's 10 years younger.
He hasn't come out with a movie in a while, has he?
Well, he came out with Dumb and Dumber 2, but after
which
that,
I'm sure did terrible.
Have you seen that one?
No, I
haven't
refuse.
seen it?
I could barely finish the second half
of
the first
I think I saw a little bit of it, or maybe never mind. I think I was thinking of the Three Stooges movie that I went to see. That was really dumb. I didn't like that. I feel like it was the same thing as Dumb and Dumber, pretty much.
Do you prefer Jim Carrey or Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. Really?
I don't think it's that obvious. You guys are telling me it's obvious.
Well, I guess it's close because of this movie for Jim Carrey, but I haven't really seen Will Ferrell in a serious role like this.
No, I can't really say that I have. I'll look up his
films. There
is
one there was one on Netflix where he played a serious role, but I never got around to it.
But this is coming from spoilers. The next film, not the next film that we're doing, but in the next round after that, I chose a Will Ferrell movie.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Yeah, so I mean, I like both of them. Elf is funny, but at the exact same time, there's a sense of it's real heartwarming, kind of like this one is.
Yeah, but think about everything that he's been in. It's all comedy. Step Brothers, Anchorman, Daddy's Home, The Other Guys, Get Hard, Talladega Nights.
He's in a lot of classic comedy movies.
Yeah, Blades of Glory.
I don't know. Jim Carrey's got a lot of them too, though. Jim Carrey's got.
I think they came out. Before, I mean, Ace Ventura. I never saw that came out right around the time we were born or before that.
Way before 1984. He's got
Yeah,
Ace
way
Ventura, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Liar Liar, Bruce Almighty,
Yep.
I've seen a little bit of
Truman
I've seen a
Show,
little bit of Liar Liar. I think that one looks pretty good.
Grinch, The Cable
Grinch is
Guy.
lame.
I love
The Will Ferrell movie I'm thinking of that's serious is Everything Must Go.
Okay.
Yeah,
2010.
looks
It
interesting.
was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it is anymore. But
I think it's close. But I think they're like 1A and 1B for me. Like those are the two iconic comedy actors.
yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't it nice seeing like Jim Carrey not do something just ridiculously
Yeah,
stupid?
And I could buy it. I
Oh,
buy him
yeah.
as being like a serious actor.
Yeah, he did
Well, now-
great. Kind of like Adam Sandler for me this year.
Yeah, this is his uncut. And they're completely different movies, but it's kind of the exact same
Exactly.
idea.
When I
Or Vince Vaughn's Cell Block 99.
Yeah. Ooh, that would be a good one. We might have to open up the vault for that
Oh,
one.
jeez.
We'll have Andy watch it.
I
He'll
don't
have to
know.
take
I
your
just
spot.
have so much more
Might have to.
respect for actors who go against their grain.
And just show it once. You don't have to show it the rest of your career.
Right?
Just show
No,
it
no,
once.
no.
Give me
Yeah,
one
show that you
movie
can
like
do it.
this.
I'll have way more respect.
No, yeah. When I first watched this movie, and I saw it was Jim Carrey. I think I watched it with Jake my first time, and when Jake kept telling me that it was a Jim Carrey movie, I was just kind of like,
I know you,
Okay.
you expect what you're expecting.
exactly. Like if someone told me a serious Will Ferrell movie's coming out, I'm like, okay, he's gonna try to be dumb and funny, and this is how his movies go, you know. But I was so surprised to see him play this role and how serious and how well he played this character. So very refreshing.
Yeah,
Very refreshing to see.
on my critique website that I go off of for a professional critic, it's Roger Ebert, and when I look up his best movies of all time, this is near the top.
Yeah.
This is one of his best rated movies.
It's on a lot of lists.
Oh,
I've noticed it's on a
easily.
lot of lists.
Yeah.
Do we want to just jump into our favorite scenes, because I think this discussion might go on for a while. I've
Yep.
got a few of them, and actually now watching it again, I took these notes. I took these notes based off of my first time watching it. Now that I've seen it again, I have a little more that I want to say about it. But should we just start jumping into our favorite scenes?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Do you want me to start? I guess I don't care. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The train scene is really good.
Yeah.
Watching it again, I don't know if it's my favorite scene, but I'm going to nominate it because I think it's a perfect setup for the rest of the film.
Mhm.
It shows the style it's going to be. Again, the handheld camera kind of quality to it.
And how the relationship is going to be.
Right. And I think it's very well made, and I think it kind of sets you up for what you're going to get from Jim Carrey for the rest of the film.
And when she yells at him for using the word nice.
Yeah. She talks about her hair colors, and she says, "Don't make fun of my name," and it says all those little details that you get the rest of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I also have, let me see. I guess this kind of counts maybe for the beginning. The credits or the title screen doesn't show up for like 20 minutes into the film.
Yep.
Yeah, it shows up right when he starts crying.
Right.
Mhm.
So
that scene of him crying.
right before that, them laying on the ice is another one that I had. I think that's just a great scene.
It's an iconic scene that
Right.
that was on all the posters and
I think it's
And Jake sends me pictures of it like every day.
a great, I don't know. I just think it's a great scene. And then the one on the beach at the end where they are in the house and the house starts crumbling down, and then is he in the car with the sand in the car? Is that what it is?
Yep.
I like that part.
That's after it finally crumbles. It just shows him driving by like pretty much everything one more time.
Yeah.
And someone was like, "I saw you talking to a cute girl. Who was that?" And he was like, "It was just
Some girl.
It was just some girl." And then it was.
It was
done.
like his roommates or his friends or something like that who said that we were driving him.
Yep.
There were a lot. I just think there's a lot of good moments. I don't know if there's a ton of great scenes
Well,
in this
the
film.
end
There's
is
just a
the
lot
end
of
is
good
probably my favorite
moments.
scene. But like, I just think a lot of the scenes when he's real. What?
What part of the end? Because
Just
there's
the very like when that quote that Jake said, like when
oh,
they're
okay, the
on
very
the highway.
end, very end.
But
Okay.
like, I just think all the parts where he was realizing what he was losing was just so sincere and so good.
The part where he's dragging her through the train station. I
Yep.
thought that was a good part too. I really liked that.
Yeah, one of mine for me was definitely the beach house, like you touched on when it was crumbling away. I think it was more the quote for me than it was the scene. When he was like, "I left, I can't come back," and she was like, "Well, what if you did? Like, why don't you try and come say goodbye and act like we had one?"
Yep.
And he comes and he says, "I love you," and she says, "Meet me in Montauk," which is kind of like when you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's why he ditched work the day and felt like he had to go to Montauk," was because when his last memory got wiped, he briefly remembered her saying, "Meet me at Montauk," when she whispered in his ear.
Okay, I was going to ask about that. Does she say that? Does that mean that she says it in a past, like, memory?
I don't necessarily know what that means.
Work?
But I think that when she was getting hers wiped too, I feel like she was getting the same type of vibe that he was getting. So I think they both were acting the exact same, and each other's memories being wiped.
Okay. Because I was thinking maybe she was having second thoughts about it, and then right before she got the procedure done, she said that, and I don't know.
I just think that they were so different, but so the same, that they both
They're both goofy.
Right.
But, yeah.
That they had that same feeling towards the end of the wipe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was like, she had times where she was over the top, but he was always kind of reserved and didn't do much. She's like, but when they were together, they mixed like almost perfectly, because then he'd start being a little more goofy, and then sometimes she'd be like talking about some memories and stuff like that.
They were just a perfect fit for each other.
It does give me a Marriage Story vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't realize how much this does give me a Marriage Story vibe, but maybe it's just because I don't see a whole lot of movies like this, so the one that I did see, it kind of reminds me of, but just you see glimpses and sparks of it, and you kind of realize why these two people were together, and then you also see why these two people probably should not be together.
Yeah.
And so for that, it does give me Marriage Story vibes. In a good way. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I loved it. It's probably my favorite movie of all time. If I had to pick. And, I'm just going to say, if you're listening out there, Maddie, it is a romance movie, and I'm not slamming on your Nicholas Sparks movies.
That's actually a good question. I never thought about that. Would you show this to your significant other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them to, I don't know. You don't want them to think that it's just going to be a perfect relationship.
No,
I guess.
I would say...
Otherwise,
Yes,
you're going in, and when struggles do happen, it's going to be a rude awakening.
That's a good point. I think kind of what I said before is like a lot of it's we're in it for memories. We're in it to make memories, and it's not about I guess it's kind of tailing off what Jake said. It's like it's not gonna be perfect, but we're gonna have each other, and we're gonna make memories. We're gonna have a good time, and yeah,
you have to have lows to have highs.
Yes,
you build on each other during those low times, and you become stronger.
So this is a don't show on first date movie, but show
not first date, but later down the road, definitely.
If you show this on a first date, it's not like there's a lot of bad movies that you could show on a first date, but I just don't think this would be. I don't know. It wouldn't be appropriate. I don't think.
Jake, did you say your favorite scene?
Yeah, I said probably that beach scene or the ice scene, just because. Yeah. That's when he finally, I think, started to turn and be like, I don't want this to happen. I want these memories, because he just said he was happy where he was.
Best performance?
Jim Carrey. Close
Kate
Winslet. But yeah.
I did like Mark Ruffalo in this movie a lot. I did like Mark Ruffalo.
He was a side character. But
yeah.
I like the Doctor a lot, too.
Maybe we should have, best side character. Mark Ruffalo would win best side character for me.
Supporting
actor, yeah. I would go with the Doctor.
You think the Doctor?
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst is good in this movie, too.
Everybody just does a really good job in this
because she had
movie.
a bigger part than Mark Ruffalo did. Because she actually released those tapes and those files and stuff like that, just to kind of expose this.
Oh, that's one thing that I was going to say. How cringy that scene is when they're listening to each other's tapes.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard.
Come on, you're listening to them swear at each other, not directly, but in their own separate tapes. They're saying he's so effing boring, and she just F's around with other guys. It's so cringy because they're both listening to each other say it. It's turn it off already.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
But they both had the exact same reaction to it. It was because at first Clementine, she had her tape because she was going over to his house, and then she's like, I don't know what this is, and she just pops in, and you start listening to it, and he's like, are you screwing with me? What is this? And she's like, I have no idea. Then he just opens the car door and then lets her out. But then she tracks him down, and then when she goes into his apartment, he's just listening to it, and then she can't stand it either. Then she walks out. So and
she's like, I don't do that. And she obviously did, but they didn't know that, and he was like, no, I know, I bet you don't. Mm-hmm. But it obviously happened.
Yeah. So
leading up to the most powerful word of the movie, and it's okay. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Are we gonna rate it now?
Well, I got a few more facts.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
read those.
Nicolas Cage was considered for the role of Joel.
Oh God, I wouldn't be talking about this movie right now.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious.
He tried out for. I feel like he's tried out for every movie.
Nicolas Cage was.
Yeah, he must have played Superman at one point too.
Yeah, I'm just telling you what the IMDb page said to me.
That's so funny.
no.
Could you imagine?
Thank the Lord.
We need to find the Declaration of Independence first. Okay.
I think the young looking Jim Carrey was the perfect casting
Yeah.
choice.
Yes.
Or Vince Vaughn.
Ooh, actually,
Vince
Vince
Vaughn.
Vaughn wouldn't have been terrible.
That, I could see that, but I kind of like the nerdy feel.
No,
of
I know.
Jim
Carrey.
I was just throwing that out because of Cell
quiet.
Block 99, but
Oh, we should watch. That would be a good.
I'd watch that
you might have
again.
to get Andy for that one because
Well,
I do
Andy
not.
hates that movie.
Does he? I don't.
Does he really?
I don't
I
really
think so. We watched it at his house.
Okay, I'll watch it again with you, Eli. But
I'll watch.
Besides that last scene, what is it you don't like about
I
that film?
even enjoy the last.
the last
scene.
scene
a
I think
little
the
was
last scene's
so
fine.
bad. I couldn't stand it.
bit. I don't mind.
I think his story. I think I'd have to watch it again because I think his story was okay. I don't really remember it a ton, so I definitely would have to watch it again to refresh my mind.
Did you know Deb from Dexter is the wife?
Is she?
Yeah.
See, didn't he get cancer? She got. I don't remember. I thought it was something like that, and then he was just getting whatever. We'll talk about it some other time, maybe.
Do you have another fact?
I have two more.
Good.
Seth Rogen auditioned for the role of Patrick.
Oh, that could have been good because he was the one pursuing Clementine using Jim Carrey's
honestly,
memories.
I don't
He's
think
in the movie a whole lot.
Elijah would.
No,
No.
but he does a good job. though.
Exactly.
His
So I don't think it
desperation.
would have mattered that much. Who? I mean, obviously you could pick a wrong actor, but I think he would have done fine with it.
He kind of plays the creepy role very well. Elijah Wood does.
Yep.
And then the last one is much of this movie is improvised. Almost like most of this movie, they give them the plot points and they just kind of act it out.
Really?
I can see
Yeah.
that.
So
for
like
sure.
the train scene is mostly
Just conversation.
improvised. Yeah.
They just tell Kate Winslet like just be bubbly and
Hearing
stuff
that
like
just makes you appreciate it so much.
That's awesome.
more.
Actually.
I think actors like Jim Carrey pulled it off really well. I
Yeah.
think you could give this movie it was in good hands with Jim Carrey and
Yes.
Kate Winslet. And another scene was when Stan and Mary are dancing with their underwear
Yeah.
in the.
That was
That's
weird.
improvised.
That's all. That was not in the script.
That was
They
kind of
just
weird.
thought of that on the spot.
But he was naked too, and like you saw
He had
Mark
underwear
Ruffalo's
on, didn't he?
ass.
Oh no,
when he got up from
Yeah,
the chair,
yeah, he
you
did. I
you
was
saw
like,
his
all right,
ass.
Mark Ruffalo, put some clothes on, please.
Yeah, I was like, well, hold on.
Those are the facts that I have. There were a ton of them. There were like probably 30 of them. I just kind of.
Did you see anything on her jacket or her hair? Because I scrolled through a lot of articles that showed like the symbolism behind both of them, and I'm gonna like read them, but I think that there's a deeper meaning to the orange coat and the blue hair.
I will tell you what. I will read through it.
Could because I mean, the only thing I remember him saying was like, he's like, oh, this is the first. Like when they went to the scene at the beach, he's like, this is the first time I met you, and you were wearing that orange sweatshirt that I
Came to know so well,
but you turned out to hate, or something that you eventually hated.
Or no, he said that I loved it and then eventually came to hate it.
I thought she eventually.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Clementine's hair goes through several color changes: blue, orange, red, green, and brown, which seems to be her natural hair color. This helps the viewer keep track of where the relationship with Joel corresponds to the plot.
Oh,
All right,
Okay.
well, makes sense.
Yeah.
Although it didn't really help me at all.
Yeah.
There's too many colors. Should we give a rating?
Yeah.
All right, I don't care. Jake, you want to go
I
first?
think
No, I
Jake-
wanna go-
Oh no, Jake should go last. Eli, or do you want me to go first?
I don't care. I'll go first.
9-2.
Okay.
9.2. We're going like
Yeah,
tenths now?
0.5s, Casey.
We're doing
We're
0.5s.
doing
We're doing
0.5s.
0.5s.
We've always been doing 0.5s. So a 9 or a 9.5?
9.5.
Oh, dang. I'm going to go 7. I think it's good. I would watch it again. I just don't know if it's in that upper tier of just movies that I fully love. But I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. Not a whole lot of complaints.
That's good. Is it possible for me to give a 10 with saying that it's not perfect?
Yeah.
Good. Then I give it a 10.
Okay, then actually I might move it. I'm going to move it down to 9 now, I think.
Okay, then I'll go 9.5.
What?
No, I'm kidding. Okay, no, I'll stay with my 10
Okay.
Fine.
since it's my favorite movie.
For me, I save like my way of thinking of like 10s are like you get like only so many of them. Like every
you don't-
decade, like you probably see like 3 or 4 10s every single decade.
I don't
like,
know.
I
Then
save
that-
that
then
for
that's
a
one of
very,
mine.
very exclusive group.
Yeah,
So
that's easily one of mine.
that's the way I think of it. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about this movie? Jake, this is your chance. You have anything else you want to say about this film?
I just think definitely go and give it a watch. If you're still confused after you watch it, hit me up. Watch it again.
And you will be confused after you watch it the first time.
Yeah.
I think you will appreciate, anyone who watches it will appreciate the movie. Just because, as I said earlier, it touches on a lot of emotions. Jim Carrey, Caitlin Winslet are really good in it. I think, and like I said earlier too, like a lot of people can. I think a lot of people can relate to this movie. So,
And I think to all those people in relationships right now, if you're in a long distance relationship, I think this gives hope that there's going to be hardships and maybe you're in them, but you can battle through them. And if you're starting a new relationship, then I think it can be a little discouraging. But
Don't watch
trust it.
Don't watch.
Yeah,
it.
just
Don't watch this
just
movie
wait
right away.
till wait to watch it together until you're a little while along.
yeah, watch it and then just think about it.
Perfect. Is that it?
Yep.
Thank
All right.
you very much.
I get to tease my movie now.
Oh yeah, jeez, Jake.
Casey and I
Almost forgot about-
Casey and I watched it together like 3 or 4 nights ago, 2 or 3 nights ago.
We did.
Casey, we watched this film. Are you serious?
I thought you were gonna pick.
I haven't.
It's a David Fincher film. David Fincher's outside of Tarantino, he's probably my favorite director. He's got so many classic films to me, and this is one of my favorites in it. And I think it's one of the best time period pieces I've ever seen. I think it does a really good job of setting the
I
time
know
period.
at least one actor in it.
Yeah. He's in this movie. Do you want to do the one that's in this movie?
Is it Jim Carrey? Oh, I know what it is then.
Yeah. Do you want to do that one? I'll let you introduce it if you want to say the name.
What?
It's Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo's in this movie.
Oh, never mind then.
I have to
oh,
wa- I
I know.
still
okay,
have to watch
I know
it.
what it is. Never
We
mind.
watched it together, Casey.
Sorry, I forgot.
I get some time to watch it then, right?
no.
Yes, of course. It's a long. Well, I need
2.5, right?
It's 2.5 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really good.
I can do it. I'll find time this week.
Okay.
And it's not a David Fincher movie that I think a lot of people will think it is, because he's made like Fight Club and he's made 7. It's not one of those movies. So
He made 7?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The more you know.
Oh wow.
yeah, he's made a lot of really great movies.
Okay.
Cool.
That's all that I have. This has been Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. Came out in 2004.
Watch it.
Jake's favorite movie of all time, potentially, he says. And that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Next
you.
week.
Thanks for watching,
we'll have
guys.
See you next week.
Yep. All right, bye.